Hey, it's Dave Wyman, another installment of Football 101. This is Denver versus Seattle, and 10:40 in the second quarter. Seahawks are up 10-7 at this point, and this is a play that happened that a lot of people have been talking about, and I put up here why you shouldn't point the finger. And having been in the meeting rooms and had times where I remember where people would blame me for giving up a touchdown that wasn't really my fault, and you'd always get kind of frustrated. And that's the thing, and that kind of point some things out of why you shouldn't do that and try to assign blame. Somebody's fault, right? Because what happened is, and let's just draw the play up first of all, and people are trying to speculate on what kind of coverage they were in. It looked like they had man underneath and then zone deep. And the reason why I say that is because at the snap of the ball, this guy came that way, this guy came that way. And so what happens when you have man-to-man, you call a combo so that, hey, I'll take the guy out to my side, you take the guy out to your side, so that way you're not following the guy. And so they both, went off and covered man here. On the backside, this looked exactly like cover two. So Shaquille gets a jam on this guy and then just sort of floats back and lets him go to the safety, Bradley McDougald, who's dropping back here. Where the problem happened was on this side, and it was kind of strange because what happened was this is Cortland Sutton, big guy from SMU, and he ran like a shallow crossing route, and then E.Sanders ran a deeper route. So, and what happened is on this, and I couldn't really tell exactly what Justin Coleman was doing. So start with him. It looked like he was just playing zone and just kind of dropped back there. And he kind of mirrored where the man-to-man coverage went and like started to sort of jump up there. And I'm not sure what he saw, because a lot of times what happens is in game plans, and when you go into a game, you have all kinds of different rules, okay? And you have different, well, more likely you have exceptions. And I was talking to James Osborne and Taylor Jacobs about this before we drew all this stuff up. And remember when Richard Sherman got really upset about coverage against Atlanta, and there was like a switch route or something like that. And what happens is you get in those meetings and you want rules, not exceptions, because exceptions means that, okay, here's something that I have to memorize, and it might not make sense to me. And when you have rules, the rules make sense, and there are exceptions that are really hard to remember during a game. And so that's always a likelihood of what happened. But what Trey Flowers does is the right thing. He collapses down on this, because if all the receivers are over here, you don't want to sit back and cover the deep third if you have cover three or whatever. So he ends up getting in like a chase sort of position behind E.Sanders. Early on, Earl jumps this because Coleman didn't go with him, and I don't know if he was supposed to. He dropped off like he was in zone, and so Earl saw somebody who was open and jumped him. And, maybe Coleman should have dropped back and picked up the second crosser. Maybe Trey Flowers should have played this a little bit more aggressively and gotten closer to him. We don't know. And so that's why, look, I'd say it's probably one of these three guys, but you never know. It could be that if they have double crossers, Bradley's supposed to jump something. You never know. And I'm not saying that it was, but that's why you shouldn't point the finger. But what happens on this play is, of course, Earl takes this away by jumping it, and they throw the ball to E.Sanders, and then he ends up breaking a tackle here. The one thing I was really impressed with, and this ended up being a touchdown, made it, 14-10 at that point. So, it's just one of those things that you make mistakes. I saw well over 100 snaps and reps for rookies in this game. And Trey Flowers, he played a lot. And there was a couple of plays that he made, even though he got beat. He was out there man-to-man on E.Sanders, one of the best. This is like Doug Baldwin as far as his speed and ability to get loose, and he did actually a really good job with him. But one of the things that impressed me is he ran all the way over, and after Sanders caught it and started to turn the corner here, he tried to come up and punch the ball out. So pretty awesome for a rookie. I think that there's a lot of things to like, but whenever you see this, I would just say, hey, look, it was probably somebody's fault, but there's a lot that you don't know, and I fall into that same category. I know what I don't know because I've been sitting in those meetings, and sometimes they have, all kinds of exceptions and to their rules. So that's my best guess, and did a pretty good job defensively considering all the rookies that started in this game. And so I think that there were some good things to like in the loss to Denver. If you can have a good loss, which there probably isn't one, this was a pretty good one. Opening up in one of the toughest places in the NFL to play, and you're within 3 points and you had a chance to win it at the end.